The boarding line crawled forward like it always did, tired faces and restless feet inching toward the plane. Daniel Harper stood near the back, his 4-year-old son Noah balanced on his hip and a small backpack slipping off his shoulder. Noah had fallen asleep minutes earlier, cheek pressed against Daniel's chest, trusting and warm. Daniel shifted his weight and breathed through the ache in his arms. He had learned patience the hard way over the last 3 years. His wife's illness. Her quiet passing. The way the world kept moving as if nothing had happened. Flying still made his chest tighten, but today he told himself it was just another trip to visit his sister. Just another small step forward. The man in front of him turned and looked Daniel up and down. Perfect suit. Sharp haircut. The kind of confidence that filled the space before words did. He smirked and nodded toward Noah. Red-eye flights aren't daycare, the man said loudly enough for others to hear. Hope the kid doesn't cry the whole way. A few people glanced over. Daniel felt heat rise to his face. He opened his mouth, then closed it. Noah stirred slightly, then sighed and settled again. He won't, Daniel said softly. He's had a long day. The man laughed and faced forward again. Sure, he said. They always say that. Daniel swallowed the response he wanted to give. He had learned that most battles were not worth fighting, especially with a sleeping child in your arms. They took their seats. Daniel was in the middle row, aisle seat. The man from the line settled across from him by the window, tapping away on his phone, barking instructions into a headset. CEO energy, Daniel thought with a tired half-smile. The kind of man who measured life in deals and delays. A woman slid into the seat beside Daniel. She looked to be in her 40s, calm eyes, hair pulled back neatly. She smiled at Noah. He's beautiful, she whispered. Thank you, Daniel said. He's my anchor. She nodded as if she understood something unspoken. Traveling alone with him? Always, Daniel replied. The plane lifted into the air. Noah slept through it, fingers curled into Daniel's shirt. Minutes passed. The man across the aisle glanced over again. Guess you got lucky, he said. For now. Daniel gave a polite nod and looked out the window. About an hour into the flight, turbulence hit. The plane shuddered. Overhead bins rattled. Noah woke with a sharp cry, gripping Daniel's collar. It's okay, Daniel murmured, rocking him gently. Daddy's here. The man across the aisle sighed dramatically. Unbelievable, he muttered. Before Daniel could respond, the woman beside him reached over and placed a small toy car into Noah's hand. Noah blinked, confused, then focused on the toy. His breathing slowed. Thank you, Daniel said quietly. She smiled. Sometimes it just takes a distraction. The turbulence eased. Noah drifted back to SLE. A short while later, the intercom chimed. Ladies and gentlemen, the captain said, his voice steady and warm. We will be cruising at altitude shortly. Before we do, I'd like to acknowledge a passenger on board. A few heads lifted. General Ironclad, the captain continued, it is an honor to have you flying with us today. On behalf of the crew, thank you for your years of service. Silence fell over the cabin like a held breath. Daniel felt the color drain from his face. He had not used that call sign in years. Not since he traded a uniform for a quiet life and bedtime stories. Across the aisle, the CEO's phone slipped from his hand and landed on the floor. His mouth hung open as he stared at Daniel. The woman beside Daniel straightened, her expression proud but gentle. Daniel raised a hand slightly, a reflex from another life. Thank you, Captain, he said, keeping his voice low. Murmurs rippled through the cabin. People whispered. Some looked at Daniel with new eyes. The CEO leaned forward. General, he stammered. As an ironclad? Daniel met his gaze. There was no anger in his eyes, only a calm weariness. That's what they used to call me, he said. The CEO swallowed. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. Daniel nodded once. You didn't know, he replied. But now you do. The rest of the flight passed quietly. Noah slept. The woman beside Daniel spoke softly about her work. She was a military counselor, she explained, someone who helped soldiers transition back to civilian life. She had recognized Daniel the moment she saw the way he held himself, the way his eyes tracked every sound. When the plane landed, the captain stood at the door. As Daniel passed, the captain gave him a firm nod. Good to see you, General, he said. Daniel smiled. Just Daniel is fine. As he walked through the terminal, Noah woke and wrapped his arms around Daniel's neck. Daddy, he said, are you a hero? Daniel kissed his son's forehead. I'm just your dad, he said. And that's the best thing I'll ever be. Behind them, the CEO watched, his expression changed. Humbled. Thoughtful. Maybe kinder. Daniel adjusted Noah on his hip and walked forward, lighter than he had felt in a long time.